What you up to, guys?
Oh, this backyard habitat that Tabitha has been working on the entire summer.
Cool.
Cool? Charlie, you haven't been out here in person once. Charlie?
I guess it's kind of interesting.
Interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah?
To be honest, I think what you've done here is not too bad.
I knew it.
Jack and Tabitha, for your next assignment, we want you to look at the habitat where you live. As residents of a major city, you need to think about species at risk in your own backyard. This time it's up to you. Your mission is to find a species at risk in your urban habitat and do something hands-on to help that species.
Wait, is that it?
Our assignments have always been so specific. What now?
Back to headquarters?
Sure.
Sorry to scare you.
Yeah. Any luck?
Well, there are several species in Ontario that are at risk that we can find in our city. For example, the monarch butterfly, which I actually saw in my backyard. A small tree called a red mulberry. And a yellow-banded bumblebee. There are a few more, but I think we'll need some experts to help us.
Yeah, you should get on that.
Don't you want to help?
I'm just really worried about my movie. The summer's nearly over and I didn't get the footage I wanted to get for my horror film. I really wanted to make a B movie. Guess I'll just have to settle for making a BEE movie then.
The yellow-banded bumblebee needs your help too.
What about bats?
Huh?
You know, creatures of the night.
I love bats. Are there any bat species that are at risk?
Let me check. Fascinating. In Ontario, there are 4 bat species that are at risk, and 2 of them are found in our city. Little brown bats and eastern small-footed bats are both at risk in Ontario.
Wow. So what do we do?
Well, it looks like they're suffering from something called white nose syndrome. It shouldn't be too hard to spot.
The sun is almost setting. What do you say we go out and look for them? Bats come out at night, right?
It's worth a shot.
Any luck last night?
Nada.
Zip.
0. This assignment is really tricky.
Yeah. We've always had stuff just handed to us on a silver platter, but now that we actually have to do the work ourselves, we're tanking.
I think I might be able to help.
How?
While you two were out last night, I got in touch with a family member.
And?
I'll let them explain. Grab a seat.
Oh, hey, Charlie.
Hi.
I hear you're working on a species at risk project.
Sorry, I'm a little confused. What is it exactly that you do?
I work for a company called the Windsor Essex Mobility Group. Essentially, wherever you've got construction activity that may impact species at risk, somebody's got to get involved to mitigate. And that's where our team came in.
Not to sound rude or anything, but we've spent the summer traveling all over the place, and habitat loss keeps coming up as a major problem facing all sorts of species. How does your work relate to different urban species at risk?
Well, I'm a wildlife biologist that works specifically with species at risk, and in particular reptiles. I'm actually protecting endangered species from a new highway project hidden away in the city. In the west end of Windsor, there's 4 or 5 little city parks, and those parks, as a unit, they make up the Ojibwe Prairie Complex. And the Ojibwe, as the locals know it, is loaded with endangered and rare species. There's more endangered species living hidden away than any other single spot in Canada. But essentially, our highway project has so many cars and trucks on it that there's no hope for a species that wants to get from one side of the road to the other side of the road. So we actually built, as part of our project, a ground level eco passage. All the roads and lanes of the roads go underneath the eco passage. The animals go over top of it, and sitting on top of it is all natural habitat.
And that actually exists?
T5, we call it. That's our nickname for it. T5 is phenomenal. It's the best eco passage in Canada. Now, eco passages, they're special. They are literally built to allow species of wildlife to get from one side of a highway to the other side of a highway. And eco passages have been built all over Canada. Not very many of them yet, but we're getting there.
I'm sorry for being so skeptical.
Well, Windsor is an unusual city, but we need to think about species at risk right across Canada. Wherever species at risk are found, we need to do everything we can to help them. And the reason we want to help species at risk is for an ecosystem to function properly, everybody has to show up for work. If some of the animals or plants don't show up for work, then that ecosystem, well, it's out of balance. And that's the problem. We need to bring them back into balance, maintain the balance. And nowadays, with wild places, especially in southern Ontario, becoming smaller and smaller, we need to do more of this. We need to do more of the right thing.
Wow. I think the world and all its species need more people like you.
Thanks, Tabitha. I appreciate that. Hey, Charlie told me you're doing a project with bats.
Oh, you bet. We've been looking all night for them, but we haven't found any.
I know a bat expert, a friend of mine named Christina Davey. I'll bet you she'll tell you anything you need to know. I'll put you in touch with her.
Really? That's great, thanks.
Oh, no problem. I'll keep Charlie posted.
Thank you so much, Uncle Steve.
You're welcome, Chucky.
Chucky, you never fail to amaze me.
Hey, Charlie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Dr. Davey. This is Tabitha and Jack.
Hi. Please call me Christina.
Hi.
And this is Lauren and Emily.
Hi.
So you had some questions about bats.
Yeah, but firstly, what is that?
Oh, that's an abandoned mine. It's not being mined anymore, but it keeps a constant cold temperature and the bats use it for hibernation.
We've been looking for some little brown bats or eastern small-footed bats, but we haven't had a lot of luck at our park. So we were wondering if you had any of those two species here.
Well, it's a little unpredictable what will come in from one night to the next, but we do get both of those, and there's 3 other species that might show up as well.
We've heard about something called white nose syndrome. Is that actually a thing?
Unfortunately, it is. Why don't we get set up, and then I'll tell you all about it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So we know that bats are suffering from white nose syndrome, but what exactly is that? I don't see any white noses here.
No, and you won't see any tonight because we're still in the summer active season. White nose syndrome is a disease caused by a fungus, and it's killed millions of bats in North America already.
Has white nose syndrome always been an issue for bats?
No, the fungus is native to Europe, and the bats there get white nose syndrome, but it doesn't kill them. And it was introduced to North America in or around 2006, probably by cavers or spelunkers. But it wasn't here previously.
What does the disease actually do to the bats?
The fungus grows on their noses and their ears and their wings while they're hibernating. And where the fungus grows, it actually grows right into the skin, and it causes lesions that are very uncomfortable for the bats, and it makes them wake up during the winter more often than they normally would. And they go in with a certain amount of fat stored up, but if they have to wake up more often, then they burn the fat too quickly, and they'll sometimes get so desperate that they'll leave while there's still snow on the ground.
And what happens then? Because I don't really associate bats with winter.
No, and our bats are all insect eaters, and that's why we don't see them in the winter. But if they come out too soon and there's no insects for them to eat yet, then they'll freeze or starve to death.
Is there any way to help combat the disease?
I wish I had a good answer for that question, but so far we have no really useful tools in fighting white nose syndrome. One of the hopes is that the bats that are still here, because they're bats that have now been overwintering with white nose syndrome for 7, 8, maybe even 10 years, that these bats maybe have some resistance to the disease, and that they're giving birth to babies that also maybe have some resistance. So one of the things we'll do tonight is take genetic samples from these bats, and we'll use them in a study to see if there are different genetic profiles in bats that make it through white nose syndrome compared to the ones that didn't. That's it? Yep.
According to our research, bats can live in urban environments too. So what would their role be in that kind of habitat?
Well, they'll come out from their roosts in cities or towns around dusk, and then they'll come out and feed on insects the same way that they would in rural areas. And they can eat an astonishing number of insects every night, over 70% of their body weight. So that's like me eating a stack of cheeseburgers about that high.
That's a lot of food. So why do bats live in cities? I think they prefer places with a lot more insects in them, wouldn't they?
Well, there's more insects than we like to think in our cities, and we also have streetlights, and the streetlights draw the insects in, and then the bats come to those insect concentrations, and they have a ready source of food right there.
So is there anything that people like us could do for the bats?
Well, what we really need to do is protect their summer habitat, so you could put up bat boxes.
Bat boxes?
Yeah, they're like an extra alternate habitat for the bats to use, so they provide a safe space for them to recover from white nose syndrome if they were infected during the winter and to raise their young.
How do we build them?
I'll send you some plans.
That would be great.
You don't mind if I get a little bit more footage with my camera, do you?
No, go ahead.
Here, try this. I modified my new virtual reality headset. I think you'll have better luck with that.
Is this recording right now?
You bet.
So, how's the horror film going?
Oh, I got some great footage of the bats. So, what about the bat boxes?
I have the instructions right here from Christina. Will you two help me pick up the construction supplies later? I want to build one for my backyard, and a few people in my neighborhood have agreed to install some as well. We're gonna need a lot of materials.
That might be a problem.
How come?
Well, between all the travel, meals, and technical upgrades, it looks like your budget is spent.
Oh, come on! After everything we've done? Can't we afford the materials for a few bat boxes?
We can barely afford the materials for a single bat box, let alone the dozens you've promised to deliver.
I have an idea.
What is it?
My film isn't quite yet finished, so I'm going to need your help to complete it.
What's that got to do with bat boxes?
Put on your acting hats and I'll explain. Can everyone please take their seats?
Welcome to the world premiere of my latest film. Now, before we start, I'd like to thank you all for your donations tonight. I am very happy to say that all our funds will go towards the construction and installation of bat boxes in our city. The film you are about to see would not be possible without Charlie and Tabitha. The three of us have been working together this summer, investigating the incredible plants and animals we share our amazing province with. And now, without further ado, I would like to share my film with you. Foolish mortals. You spent your lives oblivious to the species with which you share your habitat. Now it is time for you to suffer the same fate as them!
What? Where am I?
You are in a kitchen, a bastion of sustenance and security for the human species. Feeling a little thirsty, are you?
Yeah, actually I am.
How about a little food instead?
Well, at least I still have this cozy kitchen.
How does it feel to have your critical habitat taken away from you?
Well, it looks like we have enough to cover all the bat boxes and a little left over.
Wow, that's amazing. Although, I don't really want to stop at bat boxes. Where do we go from here?
Who could be calling at this hour?
Let's see.
Oh, I'm so glad I caught you. I wanted to congratulate you on a very successful evening. And Jack, your film was ghastly.
Well, thank you.
Tabitha, the backyard habitat project you took upon yourself to do was one of the most impressive and innovative things I've seen in a long time.
Well, thanks. It means so
In
much.
fact, I found it so impressive, I'd like to make the three of you a special offer. I've owned an abandoned lot in our city for some time and have been undecided as to what to do with it. Tonight, I came to my decision. I would like to transfer it to you with the understanding that you will turn it into habitat, similar to your backyard project.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. Tonight you demonstrated the energy, skill, knowledge, and consideration that the native species in this city need. I think you can do wonders with the lot.
That's incredible. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll have my people contact your people in the morning. It's bedtime for me now, but I'm not sure I'll sleep after watching Jack's film. Bye-bye.
Oh,
Yes! I can't believe this.
Looks great.
It really complements your backyard habitat nicely, Tabitha.
Yeah, I agree. It's been an amazing summer. You know, this backyard used to be a boring old lawn.
Look at it now. A habitat teeming with all sorts of life. And now a bat box? You're really sharing your backyard.
I should get going.
Yeah,
Oh, wait. Did you guys want to grab some food before you hit the road?
I'm in.
Yeah, any chance for kebabs? Oh please, my kebabs are very good, and I bet I could write a book about them.
I actually want to see that.
Well, I mean, everyone could write a book about something.